All right, let's dive right in, because what we're about to explore today is, well, it's truly mind-bending.
What if I told you that a 1,200-year-old devotional prayer wasn't just about worship? What if it was actually one of the most sophisticated data storage systems ever created, hiding a geometric and physical model of creation itself? I know, it sounds like science fiction, but this isn't speculation. It's about decoding a masterpiece that's been hidden in plain sight for centuries.
We are talking about a text called the Soundarya Lahari, which translates so beautifully to the waves of beauty. It's a collection of 100 Sanskrit verses, and it's traditionally attributed to one of India's greatest philosopher saints, the incredible Adi Shankaracharya, who lived way back in the 8th century.
Now, the story behind this text is just fascinating. The legend says that Lord Shiva himself wrote these verses on the mythical Mount Meru. When Adi Shankaracharya visited, he was given the text, but get this, Shiva's guardian, Nandi, actually tore it in half. Shankara was left with only a portion and was then told to compose the rest himself. Now, whether that's literally true or not, the story just highlights how incredibly valuable this text was, a text that's been perfectly preserved for centuries, not on paper, but through chanting.
So, on the surface, if you read the Soundarya Lahari, it sounds like beautiful, moving poetry praising the Divine Mother. But underneath that lyrical surface, that's where you find a breathtakingly complex code, a precise blueprint for cosmic geometry and the very physics of vibration.
So what is this hidden code? Well, let's peel back that first layer. This incredible mystery starts with the fact that these verses are not just poetry. They are a literal, step-by-step instruction manual for building a profoundly complex geometric diagram known as the Shri Chakra.
The Shri Chakra, which is also called the Shri Yantra, is considered one of the most powerful sacred diagrams in the world. You can think of it as a map of cosmic creation, a visual guide to the divine forces that structure our entire universe, from the scale of galaxies right down to the atomic level.
And you know, this brilliant geometric form all starts with a very simple core. The entire structure is built from just 9 interlocking triangles. 4 of these triangles point up, representing Shiva, or the principle of pure consciousness, and the other 5 point down, representing Shakti, the dynamic energy of creation.
Now here's where the precision just becomes astonishing. When these 9 main triangles intersect with perfect, and I mean perfect symmetry, they create exactly 43 smaller unique triangles, not 42, not 44. The math has to be absolutely flawless to get this exact number, which forms the energetic heart of the whole diagram.
Just to give you an idea of how complex this is, recent computer analysis described drawing a perfect Shri Chakra with this quote. To put that in simpler terms, it means there are basically infinite ways to draw it wrong, but only a tiny specific set of rules will result in a perfect diagram where all the lines and points align perfectly. In fact, most modern computer programs actually struggle to generate it without any flaws.
Okay, so this brings up a huge question, right? How could ancient poetry possibly contain the instructions for a diagram so complex that even our computers have trouble with it? Well, the answer lies in the incredible mathematical structure of the Sanskrit language itself.
You see, Sanskrit isn't just a language, it's a scientific system for sound. It has 50 fundamental sounds, and each one is classified by where you make the sound in your mouth. The verses are written in these very strict metrical patterns called chandas, where every single syllable is defined as either heavy, guru, or light, lagu. These aren't just for poetic flair, they are the actual variables in a cosmic equation.
Take a look at this. This is the pattern for a specific meter used in the text. It's a fixed, repeating sequence of heavy and light syllables. See that? It's basically a binary code, a structured mathematical sequence that's been embedded directly into the fabric of the poem. It's not random at all.
And here it is. This is the big reveal. Each syllable's characteristics, its sound, its weight, its position in the poem, can be mapped to trigonometric functions. And what do those functions create? The exact x, y, and z coordinates for the vertices of those 43 triangles of the Shri Chakra. The poetry is the coordinate system. If you change a single syllable, if you alter one sound, the entire geometric structure just collapses. It's an absolutely genius self-verifying system.
Now, if you're thinking this all sounds a little abstract, let's get physical. What if we could actually see the geometry being created by the sound of these verses? This is where the amazing field of cymatics comes in, and it offers some really tangible scientific proof.
So cymatics is the study of visible sound. When a sound frequency vibrates a surface that's covered in a fine powder, it arranges that powder into geometric patterns. And in one foundational experiment, scientists chanted the sacred sound Om. And as you can see, the vibration creates a circle with a central dot. This is the ancient symbol for the Bindu, the point of cosmic unity that lies at the absolute center of the Shri Chakra.
And modern experiments have taken this even further. When specific verses from the Soundarya Lahari are chanted, with the right pronunciation, the right meter, the vibrations literally form the building blocks of the Shri Chakra right before our eyes. The sharp consonants create triangles. The flowing sounds create petal-like patterns. The poetry doesn't just describe the geometry, the sound of the poetry physically creates it.
So we have poetry that is a code and sound that creates form. But believe it or not, we're still only looking at this in 2 dimensions. The ancient texts suggest that we need to think bigger. The Shri Chakra isn't just a diagram, it's a multidimensional tool.
The texts describe the Shri Chakra as a 3-dimensional structure of interpenetrating cones, sort of like consciousness coming down from above and energy rising from below. Some analysis even suggests it's a 2D projection of a 4D object. And to build it perfectly, you need concepts from non-Euclidean geometry, the math that describes curved spaces, not just flat ones. These were advanced ideas that only really entered Western math in the 19th century.
So this is the crucial point. The Shri Chakra is what's known as a yantra, which literally translates to a machine or a tool. Think of it as a piece of ancient spiritual technology. Its geometric structure makes it a perfect harmonic resonator, designed to amplify certain cosmic frequencies. In modern terms, you could say it functions a lot like a fractal antenna, which uses self-repeating patterns to maximize the reception of a signal. In this case, the signal is vibrational energy.
So, when we put all of this together, what does it really mean? It means the Soundarya Lahari is so much more than a beautiful prayer. It is a profound legacy of coded wisdom, a message from the past that we are only now, with all our modern technology, beginning to truly verify and understand.
This ancient text completely challenges our modern way of separating everything into boxes. It shows us a unified worldview where art, science, and spirituality are all woven together. Poetry becomes a way to transmit precise mathematical data. The sound of chanting becomes an act of creating geometry, and an act of devotion becomes a deep engagement with the fundamental physics of our universe.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on. If a text like this one can encode such sophisticated information about math, geometry, and physics, what else might be lying dormant in other ancient scriptures all around the world? What other profound scientific truths are just waiting for us to find the key and look at them with new eyes?
பார்த்ததற்கு நன்றி. ஞான கோஷ் ஒரு பன்மொழி சேனல், மேலும் சனாதன தர்மத்தின் காலத்தால் அழியாத பொக்கிஷங்களை பல இந்திய மொழிகளில் எளிமையான, தெளிவான மற்றும் அர்த்தமுள்ள வகையில் உங்களுக்கு கொண்டு வருவதே எங்கள் குறிக்கோள். மேலும் தகவலுக்கு எங்கள் பல்வேறு பிளேலிஸ்ட்களை பார்க்கவும்.
எங்கள் உள்ளடக்கம் மதிப்புமிக்கதாக நீங்கள் கண்டால் தயவுசெய்து ஞான கோஷிற்கு குழு சேரவும். இதன் மூலம் எங்கள் தினசரி வீடியோக்களை பற்றி அறிவிப்பை பெறுவீர்கள். உங்கள் குடும்பத்தினர், நண்பர்கள் மற்றும் சமூகத்தினருடன் இந்த தெய்வீக அறிவை விரும்பவும், பகிரவும், பரப்பவும் மறக்காதீர்கள்.
சனாதன தர்மத்தின் ஒளியை நாம் அனைவரும் ஒன்றிணைந்து பிரகாசிக்க செய்வோம்.